professor of sociology. He's a very well-respected person in the sociology department. I'm a sociology major myself, and I considered looking at this debate from a sociological perspective. But ultimately, I decided that there are some things that are just too important to be reduced to the minimalistic perspective of, say, theory, of saying, what can we say about this in song? What can we say about this as people have made videos of it? This is a debate. I'm sorry, I get a little choked up. That's too important to stick straight to academia. You may be wondering why I'm wearing a skirt today. That is because tonight is Purim, one of the few times it is considered permissible for men to wear women's clothing. It is also a celebration of victory for the Jews, a celebration of femininity, when Esther saved her people from Haman. And what better villain is there than Haman? Where is such a profoundly evil analog to be found in, say, the story of Hanukkah, when latkes are traditionally consumed? And what are latkes supposed to be? We know what Hamentashen are. Osne Haman, Haman's ear. What better revenge do we have against this profoundly evil character than to celebrate his defeat by his consumption? It's taking back from the oppressor. And what's more, it's not cannibalism, because it's a symbol, so it's kosher. It is commanded in Jewish scripture that we eat Hamentashen on this day. How do we presume to argue on this day, on this festival of Purim, that there is a superior food to the Hamentashen? How dare we fly in the face of the scriptures this way? Especially when the other food is latkes. Latkes, eaten to celebrate Hanukkah, a minor holiday by most accounts, and from a book, the Book of the Maccabees, an apocryphal book. So we are here with Professor Sachs, who I respect very much, arguing against the scriptures for the superiority of a non-native food, a recent invention in the span of Jewish history, taken out of calendar from a minor holiday celebrating an apocryphal story. And he is saying that in light of this, we should defy the scriptures and proclaim the superiority of the latke over the Hamentashen. I don't know about you, but if I were in your shoes right now, I'd be thinking very hard about whether or not I felt comfortable even listening to the arguments that this counter-scripture radical is about. Now, briefly, I'll touch on the upsides and the downsides. Downsides of latkes, upsides of Hamentashen. Latkes, despite the claim that they're healthy, I think down in our hearts, we all know that they're not. We eat it with sour cream, fried in oil. These things cause heart attacks. And heart attacks weaken the tribe. What's more, the latke uses oil, and you can bet that oil isn't found from around here. Thus, the frying of latkes is increasing our dependence on foreign oil. And perhaps most importantly, latkes are nasty when they're cold. But Hamentashen are always tasty. As for Hamentashen, they're aesthetically pleasing. If you don't mind, I'm going to have a visual aid. Aesthetically pleasing. Regular, standard shape, uniform. You know exactly what to expect from Hamentashen to Hamentashen. Light, appealing colors. You have this nice kind of creamy color here. Some oranges, some reds in the middle. All very nice. They're not messy. There's no cleanup. Well, there's easier cleanup in the kitchen rather than, disposing of tons of oil. They're portable. You see how I just brought it from there to here? I didn't need a plate to do that. I can leave the plate here, pick up a Hamentashen, come back over here. Finally, they stand on their own. No embellishments are needed. They already have fruit in the middle. Latkes add applesauce. You add sour cream. No one would argue that latkes are really the same without sour cream or applesauce. And finally, as I mentioned before, they contain fruit. Fruit grows on trees. The closer to God. And after all, are we not told to view the Torah as being like the tree of life? So, above all, remember, when you're hearing his arguments, Hamentashen, they have fruit in the middle! Thank you.
Professor Sachs for a preview of rebuttal.
Well, I don't know where to begin, but I'll try. Well, on the point that latkes weaken the tribe because of heart disease, the fact that Jews have been eating latkes for millennia and despite all the heart disease still are here is an indication of the fact of our resilience as a people. So I take that as a plus, not a minus. As for our dependence on foreign oil because of the latkes, you obviously took that from the MIT debate of 1997. If you aren't using your own words, how can we be sure that anything he says is really true? As far as the aesthetic beauty of Hamentashen are concerned, I think Hamentashen are a fraud. After all, they are, in point of fact, a circle posing as a triangle. The fact that they are mobile just underscores my point of the fact that they are radically individualistic, that they can be taken anywhere, and there is no need to eat them in communal setting. Surely that is not in the service of the Jewish people as a whole. And as for eating them without needing applesauce or sour cream, the fact of latkes and the need to bring them together with sour cream and the like suggests the communal, collective nature of it, and that is so fundamental to Jews as a people and the like. But the point that troubles me the most is all your discussion of oppression and revolutionary overthrow of tyranny, and yet you show yourself at root to be very conservative, which I find troubling, not only but as a sociologist. I mean, your exegetical faithfulness to the scripture suggests your rejection of critical thinking. But more than that, given what I know about your Marxist proclivities, I'm really surprised at your defense of Hamentashen, because from the Irish to the Ashkenazim, potato dishes are peasant food that fill the empty bellies on a cold winter night. Peasants, after all, constitute the foundation of the proletariat, and they should be honored for their honest, productive labor. Hamentashen is a dessert, a delicacy of the upper class. So your words may champion the workers, but when you open your mouth to eat Hamentashen, you side with the bourgeois.